Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Planning Board meeting, Town of Amenia, November 13th, 2014. We're starting out with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just keep everyone's thoughts and prayers in Orange County with the forest fire going on. A lot of departments are deployed from Dutchess County and all over the state of New York. It's a massive fire, and it's a pretty big ordeal going on over there. But other than that, let's move into the regular meeting. The Vinci window sign application 343, Route 343, Amenia, New York. And assume you? Yes. Okay. We have plans in front of us. John, you want to start out?
Sure, I can start out. This is a relatively simple one. The project is located in the Hamlet Mixed-Use Zoning District in the Primary Valley Bottom Aquifer. The property falls immediately outside the Hamlet exclusion area and probably outside the 150-foot stream corridor. It's at the end of the project it's kind of a simple one. It involves the renovation of an existing single-family home. They want to put in into a mixed-use structure. They want to put a residential apartment on the second floor and like a sign showroom retail space on the first floor. They're making no proposed modifications. They're renovating the building. They're upgrading it, but they're making no site modifications, and the building will be used within its current footprint. Now, the proposed mixed use is permitted by right in the Hamlet Mixed Use Zoning District. It requires, however, site plan review by the Planning Board. There's a further caveat in your code, and this one had Mike and I scratching our heads. But it says that uses by right subject to site plan review, which this is, any change in use of an existing structure, it is a change in use. It's single family to now a mixed use, is permitted by right subject to site plan approval, shall require site plan review only if it involves construction or enlargement of the structure. It does not. The clearing, excavation of grading more than 1,000 square feet of land, they're not doing any of that. The addition of 4 or more parking spaces, I think they're going to accommodate everything within the existing driveway footprint. And lastly, the enlargement or addition of a sign. In this case, there is no sign, so they are adding a very nice sign. As a consequence, they need site plan approval. So in essence, it's kind of like a weird little scenario that you're actually granting site plan approval for a sign. And Mike was right, he denied the application. This qualifies as a minor project. There is no need for a public hearing. We recommend that you classify it as a as a minor project. Couple minor comments. The project also appears to be a type 2 under seeker, as it involves the construction or expansion of a primary non-residential structure less than 4,000 square feet. They're putting in a small showroom facility on the first floor. The unfortunate thing here is it does require referral to the Dutchess County Department of Planning, as it is on a state highway and it is therefore within 500 feet of that state highway. The application that was submitted needs to be revised to reflect site plan approval rather than special use permit. They did provide an agricultural data statement. There is one property within the 500-foot radius, so we need to circulate to that to provide proper notice. The site is essentially for a sign, as I said. The basic information that we did get a nice sign configuration. We did get a simple site plan, which is all that is necessary, is enough to evaluate the project. And the only thing I would recommend when and if you decide it is appropriate to issue site plan approval, it should be conditioned upon receiving a final sign permit from the code enforcement building inspector. So other than that, Mr. Chairman, unfortunately for the applicant, there's nothing we can do till we receive a response from Dutchess County.
Planning, right?
And I would recommend that, given the likelihood that Dutchess County isn't going to have much to say, I would ask that Paul and I be empowered to craft a resolution of simple site plan approval for evaluation at next meeting, and then we should be good.
What's your pleasure? Any comments, Paul?
Nothing to add to that. I covered it. I agree 100%.
Mr. Chairman, can I,
Sure.
do we have a connection or a contact at Dutchess County that we could help the applicant, or is this sort of a black box to us?
Not really. Judy only filed the application because she doesn't really file it with the county until she confirms with either Paul or myself that that filing is necessary. So she's only just filed it. They have 30 days. The chances are, if Judy makes a call, we'll get their referral back before next meeting.
Okay, great.
And so, because remember, you have no second meeting in November because of the Thanksgiving break. So the next meeting would be the first meeting in December. So that we should have plenty of time. And if it starts to get close, either Judy or I will reach out to the county. They're usually pretty good about responding.
Okay, great.
Ken?
Yeah, I had spoken to the applicants right before the meeting and complimented them on what a nice job they did. And for the record, it's great to see structures like that upgrade the curb appeal of our community. And it fit in so nicely with the aesthetics of the community. So good job, and thank you for, staying within the heart of what makes a meeting.
Any other comments or questions?
I just had a quick question. The memo doesn't, I'm assuming that this is right, but it complies with all the sign regs, yeah?
Yeah, as
Yeah.
far as I know, I didn't, Mike only rejected the sign because it doesn't have site plan approval.
Oh, okay.
So it appears to be pretty much in compliance. There's an interesting little hook in your code, and I'll just bring it up just for, if it was a home occupation, the sign has to be a certain size, but it's not a home occupation, it's a mixed use. So it can be what you have, and it does seem to comply, best I could tell, with the sign provisions, and it's a monument sign, it's very attractive, I think, so the simple answer is yes, but I always condition upon Mike issuing the proper approval.
Okay, because there's nothing in your memo that speaks to that?
Yeah, typically I don't
compliance with
review
code?
signs.
Yeah, okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Cool.
I just had a question, just for my own edification, about how you're planning on handling parking, because it's just a driveway.
Handling parking?
We could ask you to go to the podium, state your name, and talk.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do I face this way?
Yeah, you're fine.
Hi, I am Ray Weiner from Da Vinci Windows. We're planning on handling the parking, continuing up the right side of the structure, and have 1, 2, 3 parking spots at the top, kind of where facing like the grass in the back lot. Yes.
I did take a look at that, and the driveway is configured wide enough so you could get at least 2 parked against the structure, and if somebody got in early, you could probably have 2 side by side up front with the second one behind. So, and I didn't, it's more, the way it's described in the documentation, the limited stuff, it's more of like, kind of like, they're not expecting people to drive in on a regular basis. It's not that, it's more of a by appointment, so it's easily a manageable experience for parking.
So,
I would ask if you don't get a response timely, I would suggest we let the applicant know, and I'm sure that's unlikely, but if you reach out to County Executive Serino's office, if that comes to pass, I'm sure you will get an expeditious response if it comes to that. I doubt it will.
I doubt it will.
And we wish you good luck with your business, and
Thank you.
And we're happy it's going to be here in a meeting.
Thank you.
Quick question.
Yes.
When are you opening?
When are we opening?
Yeah.
We still have to do HVAC and plumbing and electrical. I would think hopefully towards the spring.
Are you fabricating there too, or is it just
No, this is just purely like a showroom.
sales? Okay.
Yes. Just maybe like a meeting space for some architects, and that's about it. Like an off-site meeting room.
So all custom windows?
Yeah, a lot of our business comes from overseas. They'll fabricate it, ship it here, and we'll install it.
Huh,
Yeah,
cool. Aluminum windows?
everything, aluminum, clad, wood, PVC.
Great. Welcome.
Thank you.
Sounds like to me. But, ladies and gentlemen, what's your pleasure? Let the engineer and attorney handle this.
I'd like to make a motion that we have John and Paul draw up a resolution that we could approve pending county approval.
All in favor? Aye. So carries. There you go.
Thank you very much.
And that meeting is December 11th.
December 11th. Next on the agenda is Silo Ridge Temporary Gym Fitness Center approval resolution.
I guess I get to do this one too, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
you do.
They had submitted documentation, you all reviewed it, I think, last meeting. You were all pretty comfortable with it. I think it was Paul's recommendation that we kind of prepare a belt and suspenders resolution, if you will, so that we had a time frame for when you approve it and a time frame for when they should remove it. We did get, and you asked of Mr. O'Leary, who is here this evening, if he could identify what their thinking was for removal. And what he did submit documentation. It was, I think I forwarded on. And basically what it is, it's tied, Silo Ridge has decided not to construct certain facilities within their site. They're going to rely on Siland and their contract with Siland. So they've tied the existence of this temporary facility to the construction phase for the Siland project. So they expect the clubhouse, the field house, excuse me, at Siland to be finished sometime early 2027. So the commitment here, as Paul and I have crafted this resolution, is that these temporary facilities would need to cease and be removed by no later than May 1st of 2027. We didn't preclude them from coming back in and requesting an extension, but at least now we have an approval date and we have an end date. And so we can now follow up on these things and make sure it happens. And other than that, it's a very simple resolution. If you'd like, I can read the now therefore be it resolved clauses.
Sure thing.
Okay, because you like how fast I read, I get it.
That's what I like.
Now, now therefore be it resolved that in accordance with the zoning law, the planning board hereby approved the project, provided, however, that the use of the temporary gym fitness facility shall cease, and any temporary improvements of the land involved shall be removed from the property by no later than May 1, 2027, unless otherwise authorized by the planning board. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution shall be filed in the office of the Town of Amenia Town Clerk within 5 days of the date of this resolution and shall be mailed to the applicant within the same 5-day period. Be it further resolved, this resolution shall take effect immediately. We need a motion, a second, and then a roll call, sir.
I'll make a motion.
A second? I'll second it.
Robert Boyles Jr., chairperson.
Do we
Yes.
have any discussion?
You can, sir, yeah.
Yeah, before we vote.
Go ahead.
Who's Siland? Again, if we had the organizational chart, I wouldn't be asking.
Good evening, Patrick O'Leary on behalf of Silo Ridge Ventures. To begin with, next meeting you'll have your organization chart. Along with that, you'll have what I'll call a draft statement update on the as-built condition of Silo Ridge. I've received all the information, compiled it, have it in a reasonable format, and over the next few weeks I'll be assembling that so that at the next meeting in December we can present the org chart to you as well as give you an update on the status of construction across the entire Silo Ridge. Siland is a separate ownership entity. It's not part of Silo Ridge. It's not within the boundaries of Silo Ridge. Separate lot, separate ownership entity, and there is coordination, communication, and agreements between Siland and Silo Ridge to use the facilities over there. Siland owns and operates the facilities, tennis courts, the future fitness center over there, the domes and otherwise, and Silo Ridge Ventures and their clients have an agreement, financially or otherwise, to use those facilities.
Okay. Thank you.
And just recall, the Siland Recreational Facility was the subject of a separate review and approval action by this board. And the site plan as approved does include the clubhouse fitness facility that is proposed. And it's scheduled, I think, to commence sometime early spring of 2025. Being no further discussion, Robert Boyles Jr., Chairperson.
Yes.
Nina Peak, Deputy Chairperson.
Yep.
John Stephanopoulos.
Yes.
James Walsh is absent. Walter Dietrich.
Yes.
Kenneth Topolsky.
Yes.
Jamie Vidiello.
Yes.
The motion passes. Thank you very much. And that concludes what I got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need to accept the minutes from 10/23/24.
I move we accept the minutes.
Second. All in favor? Aye. So carries. We're going to go into an executive session, so we're going to conclude our meeting, our regular meeting, to an extent.
You didn't have to stay either. You
Mr. Chairman, may I make one comment before we?
Sure.
Sure.
I would like to,
1 second, please.
1 second, 1 second.
I would like to point out for the record, and hopefully to be heard by our town board, that our board administrator, Secretary Judy, is retiring at the end of 2025, as I understand it. Does that sound right, Judy? And as
Plan on it.
as she plans on it. And as of now, I don't know that we have adequate dollars in the budget for an overlap person to learn what she does and to be ready to take on those responsibilities, which that timing may coincide also with the end of the term of the town supervisor, who I think has indicated he may not continue, he may not run again, and that's a lot to lose at one time. And so I'm really speaking for the record to the full-term board. Hi, Rosetta. To say, this is something you guys should probably think about and look at, and maybe there needs to be some dollars for overlap for somebody so that we don't end up in a lurch.
At the last town board meeting last Thursday, when they were discussing budget, I raised the issue of how much work Judy does and how she had help, a student intern, and how she could use a lot more help, like another person, assistant clerk or whatever. And I was told by Leo and Paul that there's money in the budget for additional help for Judy. I don't know what, in the 2025 budget, I don't know how much, and I don't know, I've heard from someone that it's actually not all for Judy, that they are splitting it with another department in the town. So I'd love to find out a little more. I can contact Leo on that so that we can make sure that even this year you have adequate help, and if they're the right person, you could even consider them as a replacement. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're the right person. So that's what I know, and
I'll talk to Leo tomorrow.
please,
Thank you.
thank you.
I mentioned it to him today, too. And then a final point, I'd like to give a collective prodding to all of us. I'm not exactly sure where the comprehensive plan committee stands, but I'm sure it stands somewhere. But a collective prodding to all of us is one of my observations about being on this planning board is without an updated comprehensive plan, it's a tough administrative position to be in sometimes as a planning board, because there isn't a cohesive, uniform, synthesized view on what we want to be as a town. And I know it's nothing that this board per se can complete itself by any means, but we as a town need to get that moving forward so that we're operating with a unified view.
You want a vision for the future after tomorrow?
Yes, something like that.
Nina, I can, $30,000 was put into the budget for 2025 for a planner, and there's one or two grants that we're hoping to get. That's, Nina, right, to your knowledge?
$12,500, and then another 5 that's been had left over, and then a pursuit of
Right.
another grant with the CAC.
So once that's official, we can move ahead.
Can I ask you a question about that then? Does that mean that the board is letting you guys actually do the work instead of just checking the spelling as they were having you originally?
They're letting us do $47,500 worth of the work.
All right. I hope so. Thank you.
Okay. That being said, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to all the people in the town of Amenia.
Yes.
And anyone else who's watching. We have to go into executive session. As soon as you shut that camera off, we're going into an executive session.
If the board doesn't need me, which I don't